Hey guys, and welcome to the first of the Hazardous Artist series, episode 1, which has no title because I'm lazy right now and didn't want to pick a title out of the top of my head. So maybe we'll just call it the tripping episode because it's like a pilot, but not a pilot. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of things going on in this video, and I'm going to try my best to kind of show you or tell you what's going on because a lot of what I do is randomized and winging it, especially with the coloring. And I know it's going to be cringy for a lot of artists out there, so artist discretion is advised when watching my videos. So, with that in mind, let's get started. So just kind of adding my 3 layers. I always add 3 layers per layer group, I guess you can call them, so that I can have my base layer, which is at the bottom of the 3, my multiply layer, which is in the middle, and then my highlight layer, which is at the very top. So just picking out the right colors. Kind of forgot. Oh, I went for the hair first. So this is actually my mother's commission. My mom is an amazing person. She's my mother, you guys, but she always pays me for a commission every single year for Christmas cards. So this is the newest Christmas card, and I let her pick her creative output for it because my mom is a really creative person, especially when it comes to more of the wording because she reads a lot of books. She's a book person. I love my mom. She deserves a library. That's what she deserves. But so I always work with the hair first, most of the time. Not always, there's always exceptions depending on what I think would take the longest. For me, hair always takes the longest because I always have to get it right. As you can see, there's a lot of blending. I'm trying to add texture, which sometimes works really well in some pieces, and sometimes it doesn't work at all in others. And I just, there's a lot of trial and error when it comes to coloring for me, especially if I'm trying to get a particular color. If I'm doing fan art, it's even worse with fan art because sometimes I actually have to get a separate tab in Krita with the picture of the fan art I'm doing just so I can get the colors right. And I know that I have my own creative freedom. I can choose my own colors for that type of art, even though colors are different and weird. But I like to be a bit of a perfectionist with it's terrible, but it's very, very true. So here I'm just adding some highlights. That's a really great highlight. What was I thinking? Anyway, so the light source is actually in the fireplace, which you can't see right now because I zoom in a lot when I'm coloring because my eyes don't process things from far away when I'm drawing, whether it be inking or coloring digitally, even sketching. Sometimes I have to zoom in, um, but most of the time I sketch traditionally, then copy paste it to my computer to actually do the um the artwork. That I lost my train of thought halfway through what I was talking about. So here I'm just kind of softening the highlights to kind of make them look a little bit more natural to me. For some reason, I know that there are sharp highlights, there are sharp shadows in real life. I see them all the time. I know they exist, but when I do them, they don't look right to me. So a lot of the time you'll see me soften shadows that should be sharp, but to me it looks more natural to blend them a bit softer. So, wow, there's another base layer of hair. This would be my father. So my mom's commission when she wants Christmas cards, usually it for the last few years it's been me and my family, so I would draw up to 6 to 8 people per Christmas card. And then I figured out that not all of us can fit on a Christmas card. And I felt really bad telling my mother that, but sometimes as an artist you kind of have to break the bad news to people. But she was just fine with it. My mom is such an understanding person. I love her so much. But she agreed, and so for this year, and really last year too. But this year she just wanted her and my dad in the picture, and this is what she wanted. And I thought it was a really neat idea to have this as a Christmas card with the fire going in the background, the two dogs up front. She added the dogs after I inked it, which was fine because I mean at that point I can just sketch everything in and then go in and ink it. And I would have done the inking video for the first episode of the Hazardous Artist series. But when I actually checked how long it took me to ink this piece, it was 2 hours. And no one's gonna watch a 2-hour video of me frustratingly trying to draw lines on a digital art piece. And B, I don't think anybody really wants to sit there for 2 hours just for this. And even if I put it into parts, that'd be like 12 parts of a video if I did them 10 minutes long a piece. So I just decided I would do a separate video that would be more of a speed inking video so you can see the process I went through and how I actually added the dogs even though they weren't in the original sketch. So back to the process of it. Now I am going for the colors. So when I do my layer groups, I try not to overlap colors. And it's because, as you can see, I color outside the lines. And this is so that when I'm blending, especially with my sharp bristle brush, which I use for the hair, I'm not using it right now, I'm using an airbrush tool. But when I use the hard bristle brushes, when you blend it with it, it takes all the colors that the bristle brush actually touches, which is also the background color. So I have to color outside the line so that when I do use my hard bristle brush, it catches more of the natural color of, like the base color, more than the background color. Because when you catch the background color and then you color everything else, then it catches onto something that's not supposed to catch on to. So, and speaking of background colors, there is a reason why my background color is not white. I did a little research actually before I started doing it this way. But a lot of artists say that in digital pieces, doing a white background is actually pretty bad because you can't see a lot of highlights that go into your piece as well as how dark your shadows really are. Well, and the shadows is, well, when you do white background, the shadows kind of contrast way more. And so when you finish the piece, you don't actually get to see how dark the shadows really are because the white makes them look darker than they actually are. And, well, so I started doing a colored background, and a lot of artists tend to go for more of like a reddish orange, super, not like a lighter version of it, but a grayer version of it, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna pause it real quick. So the color wheel in the top right corner where my mouse is on the screen is what I use to determine my colors. But you can see like in the middle where my mouse actually is kind of like a middle ground. So it's that color mixed with gray, and that's what I am essentially talking about when I say a color that's got grayish tones in them. So just me trying to pick the proper color. Uh, there's quite a few pauses in this video because I actually had a picture my mother sent me because I requested it because I haven't seen the dogs and I don't remember the last time I went back home, but I hadn't seen the dogs in, I want to say like 2 years or something. It's been a while, but so, and then I thought, you know what, whatever, because I couldn't see the collar in the picture my mother gave me, and I was like, well, if this is a Christmas card, why not have one dog with a red collar and one dog with a green color to make Christmas colors? Yay, Christmas colors! So that's what I chose. So, and this is actually going really well. A lot of times I get frustrated over colors and which colors to choose and how to choose it. Or even like when I do the shadows, sometimes the shadows really make me mad, or the highlights make me really mad, and I have to redo them over and over and over. So I think here I'm adding more shadow to the color. Oh no, I'm trying to add brown. So the tough thing about adding a second color to blend in with the first color in digital is that if you do a layer just above the base layer to add a second color to blend in with the base layer color, it has to contend with the shadow and the highlight as well. And if you do a really bright highlight or a really dark shadow, it shows up as such as the same color as the base color. Because I don't do, a lot of artists will use gray tones when they do, or really soft blue tones when they do shadows, and light gray for their highlights. But I don't, and maybe it's a little weird for everybody. Artist discretion is advised, but I like to use the same color as the base color for my highlights and my shadows. Oh look, here's me going, okay, where's my light source? Sorry, I got a little just sidetracked there, but oh jeez, I lost my train of thought again. So I don't normally use gray tones unless the actual base color is a gray, because I think it comes out more naturally if I use the base color as my color of choice for multiply, and then just choose a lighter tone of that base color for my highlight. And so when I add a second color, it kind of contradicts itself. Is that the right word I want to use? I don't even know. So I when I add the second color, the highlight comes in, and then the highlight sometimes just overpowers that second color and you can't see it, or vice versa with the shadow, where the shadow over whelms the color and you can't see the color. And when that happens, sometimes I just have to go back with the soft bristle tool on the erase and just kind of lightly go over to lighten that shadow or to lighten that highlight to show more of the second color I want to use. So here's the hard bristle brush that I'm using. Notice how I had added layers to my shadow, because if anybody's taken art, especially if you do art, but you kind of do that, anybody who's ever taken a basic art class, even if it was the only art class you ever took, even if you took it in high school, when you've had to have done a still life, and you'll notice that shadows work in layers. And so why, oh, that was it, that was the first layer. So wow, wow, okay, so let me just no, it won't let me pause. Okay, so if you guys like this video, then, well, I'll just restart the whole layer. Then like this video. hit well hit the share button, but tell all your friends about me. Comment below if you really have any questions or comments. And now that you know what I do, you know too much. So we've come too far to stop now. So come back for layer 2, and I shall see you all next time in the next video for layer 2. Bye. And this is why, kids, you should always pay attention to what you're watching.